All right, let's review.
Mhm.
We have at last check, I do think you had gone back down south of Norrköping
Mhm.
after the brief encounter at the house in Lindesberg.
Yes, we went to the meeting. Yeah.
In your car.
Yeah.
And then I'm not sure about deploying after that. I don't think we resolved.
No,
What
I don't
to do
think
then.
we have resolved the meetings
Right.
fully. We met with.
The
Think-
Seppo people first.
Hmm.
Or was it the Seppo people? Or
There might have been the
No, the-
security
I think it
guy
was.
first.
I think it was King Song. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Seppo.
Yeah.
They were also there.
Yeah.
Okay. And you had called in the license plate,
Yeah.
and also there was a fair amount of coordination of information. The Seppo people had special information on the
Yeah,
Or-
we got more names
Right.
of the, and to some degree abilities of
Right.
the boomslangs.
and they also were extremely concerned, right, about the security risk that
Mhm.
these people actually represented, and that it has been pretty much figured out that Bengt was somehow involved in all of this from a variety of sources. So the question is, I mean, the security people are extremely reluctant to treat this as a full militarized defense situation, which would literally mean turning the city into a military lockdown of some kind. It would be a
Yeah.
remarkably difficult and significant event, clearly of almost international significance.
Mm-hmm.
And the Seppo people are also extremely concerned about. They have been sternly informed by FIO, the military research people, that they are not to start digging around in that database. That is supreme national security importance, and that needs to get protected now. Which is why your device
Mm-hmm.
would be very, very handy
Mm-hmm.
at this point. And I am pretty certain that either you picked it up from
No,
or you took it with you in the van in the first place.
no, we might not have done that due to the. I'm not sure it should be finished by
It
the
was.
rolls we did.
Yeah.
Just that with the fire going off,
Yes.
it might have been
You might have left it.
left.
Yeah.
Uh,
So did you take it to the data center is the question.
because it was room sized, wasn't it?
No, it affected room size.
Okay, how big was it then?
The actual device, I think, probably was meant to be more digital and has multiple components.
All right.
So it's not, so you could pack it in like a trunk.
In that case,
Right.
we might have stopped by and brought it to
Right.
this
Right.
meeting.
Because you planned, that was your original plan, without a fire and without supervillains.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
who's
we
going to
could've-
let those things
We
stop?
could have
Yes.
stopped by and
Right.
grabbed it before we
Yeah.
went
Yeah.
to the meeting.
Or
That seems very sensible.
Either that, or we had it in the back of the van and brought it.
Transfer.
Yeah, although you suggested not, and I think that would have been a good idea not to in retrospect, simply
Yeah.
because the van did get its front end blown up.
Yeah.
Might have affected
Yeah.
dedicated
So,
piece of machinery.
but since we couldn't have anticipated that, I'm just going with what you said first, which is that you didn't.
Yeah.
So, that is that's my logic, anyway.
Yeah.
And there's further information now that they have been able to the reports from the neighbors are not yet organized and available, but clearly there's going to be questioning of them, and now that the names have come in and some old photographs, there's been quick coordination with through the police liaison with the data center, and that means that it's just as a detail. One of them, whose name is Robinson Wright, who looks like a very athletic man, Canadian guy, had apparently been clubbing downtown Norrköping recently, and was very clearly not aware of Swedish norms, and basically behaved like how am I going to put it? He didn't swish right. He didn't do this right. He didn't do that right. Everything was
Stands
off.
out. Yeah.
Right. And so he was easily remembered and probably got reported on by the owner of the club later. Right. So there's a record there.
The bouncers or whatever would
Right.
Yeah, this guy, it comes back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He didn't actually pick a fight or anything like that, but it was not a good night for everybody. So anyway, that's kind of a confirmation, right? Some confirming information. The tracking of the van is turning out to be a problem. A great deal of the camera-based surveillance and other, sort of more general means, data-based means of monitoring traffic and things, their electricity seems to be having problems. Right. So therefore, the data coming in is spotty and irritating, and it's not so organized that you just look for the blank spots because that would be easy. No, it's more random.
Yeah,
problems.
but at least it should be out to various foot patrols, police patrols.
Right. Coordinating the information is a little bit difficult, though.
Yeah.
It has to get routed to. How are you going to get that information? Is the question. Well, they're attempting to.
And
they kind of don't want it widely known throughout the entire law enforcement of Norrköping that Seppo is taking an active hand. They don't really want that, just known.
So we should still be able to car of interest.
Yeah, absolutely. But still, this is all very slow, right? This is something that you would carry out over the course of a day or more of data gathering, interviewing, and collating information. And that app is not compatible with this app and all those things, right? So right now, this is a much more rapid situation. Where is that car? Where are they going? What is happening right now? So what were you going to say? Sorry.
No, nothing of significant. Was something. Oh, never mind.
Okay.
I remember it.
Okay. And and there's one other thing I need to do, which is going to be that is excellent. So, right. So what can we start working on and thinking about? And I would like also for you to recognize that. Can I see your sheet for a moment? Kevin has remarkable reason, incredible intuition, and remarkable psyche. So putting you well above, into very superhuman capacity of understanding what is happening just by reasoning it out and thinking about all the different information he knows and putting it together. So you can ask ridiculous questions about what's happening and make a roll.
Okay.
And you have a chance to figure it out. It's basically Batman. Batman goes, oh, wait, but this, I'll go here. I'll catch him here before he gets there.
Okay.
All of you have that ability. It's just that Kevin's
very good at it. Yeah.
Okay.
So just keep that in mind that Kevin is much smarter than he thinks he is.
Okay.
In some ways.
Yeah.
And he's not as smart as he thinks he is in others.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, first thing of order from her is like, now that we have our meeting over, I'm going to make sure that this is installed to secure this facility from further intrusions.
Mhm.
And I'm going to ask to borrow one of their lead technician to make sure that it is plugged in such a way that it doesn't interrupt their structure.
Well, that would be, here we go. Stig, Lisa, and Harry are not going to acknowledge any of the other two among them as the lead. So,
they
so
are-
you're getting all three.
I can work with it.
Yeah. So setting that it's made to get set up, it can be done.
Mhm.
And one or two of them will exclaim at this sort of old school fittings, and workmanship of it, even though the tech is very modern. The look and feel of it is much more old school industrial. So
Yes.
therefore they're kind of like, wow, look at this thing.
Bakelite is a perfectly good insulator.
There you go. Mhm.
I happen to have some casings.
That's right. Mhm. So anyway, that's easily set up. Now, how about the two of you?
Well, I think we would actually try to figure this out. Where,
Yeah,
where could they go?
absolutely.
Based on whatever she has collected previously.
What they're telling you guys is that we are. How am I going to put it? I hesitate to say they would say anything as corny as "your country needs you," but it is along the lines of, this is, we're treating this as a primary security threat.
Yeah.
But it's probably impossible, right? To, as I said before, I mean, how are you going to actually mobilize conventional forces against something like this? I mean, they're too mobile and too smart to, to be treated like a battalion or something. And they can do more damage than a conventional military force in a pinpoint fashion, especially. So, and they're based on the psychological profile involved. What they're really scared of is if they're desperate. If these guys get desperate, they will do.
But the issue is that they are essentially a terrorist cell operating without support
Correct.
in a foreign country.
Correct.
Which
But
means-
apparently they were here to get paid.
Yeah. Well, yeah, by stealing money. Yeah. I mean, they're not actually terrorists. I mean, supposedly they are
Right.
criminals.
Maybe
But they
we
are
should do
operating.
some digging on this. Was it the Bengt who was
Mhm.
missing?
Yeah, that's true.
Do some digging on him and see, can we find a connection between him and Boomslang?
Mm-hmm.
Is he Canadian?
Exactly.
Not
Canadian
with a
wife.
name like Bengt.
Canadian wife.
Yeah.
Relatives are Canadian, yeah.
Yeah. So who is going? You're busy.
Yeah,
Doing tech
I'm
stuff.
busy. I'm
Yeah.
just
And
bringing.
you made all those rolls, so we don't have to worry about
Yeah.
rolling to install.
I'm just going to say that,
Yeah.
that there would probably be some kind of time
Yes.
associated with actually getting it properly
agree.
situated.
I agree. During that time is when.
Yeah, either we do it together,
Mhm.
go to whatever we choose to go to, or we split up and do two leads at the same time. You mean
Well, at the moment, you can actually treat where you are as almost an operations center.
Because
Oh, yeah.
You don't actually have to go places if what you're doing is
I'm
investigate.
to find out wherever Bengt lived, what
Right.
last known location, whatever. We have to actually have to
But they would have his personnel file. Like,
all that is available to
Yeah,
you
it's
right
no role,
Yeah.
they would
Right.
know where it
Yeah,
lives.
exactly.
and we are at the data center.
Yes.
And we have gotten everything from Sampo that they can tell us.
I think so, unless there's something you can think of that you want to know.
Yeah.
And don't forget, I'm allowing, or it's built into the rules that you can make ridiculous leaps of logic.
Yeah.
And it's not a matter of guessing the right question. You just tell me what you would really like to know, and we'll see if Kevin can figure it out.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, well, I guess like backstory is still very important, both on Bengt and also Boomslang. If we can get more info.
Yeah, I think especially Beng, that lead
Yeah.
seems hotter.
Mm.
They're both pretty hot, but
Mm.
like it seems like you can pull there and see what happens,
Yeah,
or we can.
but what did he work with before we found out he was?
He was one of the 3 top executives of the
Okay.
data center,
Okay, so he
along with
was like,
Stefana and
one of
Josef.
those. Yeah.
They were the bosses.
yeah, okay.
So not the owners, but the people who actually. Well, actually, they did have a role more in terms of
Mm.
corporate management
Mm.
rather than technical
Mm.
expertise.
Mm.
So they were like the managerial
Mm.
executive bosses.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's not it.
He
Yeah.
would have been on site of the 3 of them. He's the one who would have remained on site to be the literal top
Mm.
Yeah, the site
boss.
manager.
Yeah, the actual showrunner of the facility,
Mm.
chief administrator.
Director.
And so, well, you come up with what you want to know specifically, and I have all of them.
What is his connection to them?
Mm.
Maybe.
Mhm.
Yeah.
In what way did they work together?
Yeah, how do they know each other? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, you can try that.
Mm.
If you want.
Do I just ask you and then throw like the dice, or what do you?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, then
You have to say if you want to bring the Carmen too.
Oh, true. Which one am I looking at here?
This is going to be intuition,
Okay.
which is really good.
Yeah. Well, I guess I can spend karma.
Okay, what
And-
color do you want
yeah.
to get?
That's a good question. Yellow, maybe?
Okay.
Makes sense.
Incredible.
72.
Oh, wow. So you actually make it. You make
Yeah.
the yellow already.
Okay.
You'll spend 10 karma.
Yeah.
So this is actually very well timed. I have just made a very important roll for an interesting result.
Okay.
And what you have found is that Bengt had been basically threatened into doing what he did. And I'll explain what it was. You're
Mm.
able to put this together. That people who owed Boomslang money, I kind of let that slip a couple of minutes ago that it was about being paid.
Mm.
So it wasn't a theft.
Mm.
Or it wasn't planned as a theft.
Oh yeah.
The idea was that they were hiding the money in the database,
Mm.
and Bengt was supposed to give them access they said, just give us access
And we'll take it.
and we'll take it.
Mm.
And that's what the guy was doing.
Oh.
And so,
The group was owed money. Oh, did you say that?
yeah, Boomslang was owed money
Yeah.
for mercenary work.
Mm.
And they were laundering, whoever is paying them has laundered the money through this
Mm.
database.
Mm.
And so the idea is that they can have access to the accounts and stuff.
Mm.
And Bengt was supposed to be able to make
Okay.
that available. And it would always be hidden in the cloud of the database that it never happened.
Oh. So they
And
had.
so Kevin messed it all up.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But they had worked for someone else and
Yes.
didn't get paid for it.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. And that, and now Bengt is terrified that they're going to forcibly remove it from the data center or from his own hide,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And or otherwise, make a point that you don't fail to pay Boomslang. Thank you very much,
Mm.
and decide to make Norrköping an example
Yeah.
of the data center itself, the entire thing, which is not beyond their capacity.
No, exactly.
So therefore, you're looking at what you've figured out, and that I can't even begin to try to explain what meltdown in Sudan and Ethiopia and what the whatever meltdown of competing forces there, or perhaps over in Niger and the Nigerian border and stuff like that. Which governments are doing deniable actions and which ones are actually being paid very locally, like what mercenaries are being paid very locally, and who are mercenaries pretending to be part of a government, and who's our government pretending that they're using mercenaries instead of their own forces. And it is a mess. As soon as Kevin tries to say, well, okay, well, that would be about the crap. Forget it. Exactly. Pick anybody. So, but that is the circumstance that you have stumbled onto, is that there was exactly what somebody had mentioned earlier, that once you set up a data mess like this, it's anything can be done through it. And you almost have perfect deniability. So therefore, what Kevin can figure out instantly is that Bengt is probably absolutely terrified. And you'll notice what did just happen is that he stole from the company's operating funds. So that's like a normal theft, right? No data center necessary.
And a pretty stupid
theft
but too.
Exactly. In other words, he's not worrying about being arrested. He's trying to say, Boomslang, here, don't I have money? Right. So whatever he's doing is clearly an act of complete terror and desperation.
So he has taken money from the data center.
No, from the data center's actual operating funds.
But in that case, he might not be using smart ways to contact them, and so he might be using his own phone or something. So that's probably another lead. That's probably more technical than whatever Sylvalansen can actually achieve in tracking.
That's reason.
Yeah, it's reason, and I think Kevin is much better at reason. Well, he is, objectively speaking.
Remarkable
versus excellence. So
So should I try to find that out as well then?
I think so, and trying to track down whatever Bengt's digital footprint, information calls and whatever whatever he's transmitting. Essentially.
Yeah, sure. I can use, I don't know how much, I still have karma left, so.
I've used 60 or...
Yeah, you guys have used up a lot. One of the reasons I'm doing a lot of rolls for Boomslang is because it seems unfair that they will meet you fresh and full of karma when they have had problems along the way. And so I've been making these side rolls.
They have to work.
And I've been saying whether they make them with karma or not. So I'm actually knocking down their karma, for what they're trying to do. And it also tells me their current circumstances right now. So.
Yeah, maybe I won't use karma. Can you maybe have some left?
It's a fun trade. You never know.
I'll try without.
5 karma to keep yourself or someone else alive. If they're dying.
Ooh, 45.
With a...
Remarkable.
Ooh, that's a tricky one. Oh, you made it.
Oh my god.
You got it. Actually, in the very first box second box for green. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, it's a green success, which means it's real. And what you are able to do is, this was to figure out more or less where he is.
Probably,
the idea?
Or what he's been calling, where he's been calling from. And so, where he is.
Okay. Well, it puts him out near the Norrköping airport. That he's he's in that vicinity. So if you're not familiar with this town that much, do you know where the airport is?
No, I don't know.
It's way off in the southeast or or southeast of town.
Okay.
And it's in an area with all these kind of open highways. There's
Okay.
kind of nothing around it, really. Like a
It's
service
closer
centers
to
and-
Linda, though.
It is,
Yeah,
yeah,
kind of.
yeah,
Mm.
it is. And you're right, yeah, and that's where he is, let's see. Given the roll that I just made, given that you got that success, you have the contact information that you need, actually, if you want to try to contact him,
Mm.
because that goes with the methods that you were talking about.
Yeah.
So it's a telephone that had not previously been associated,
Oh.
right?
Mm.
Somehow we do know that he had different telephones.
Mm.
So the point, though, is that you've been able to realize that, he's using this phone,
Mm.
which was previously not been known. So
Yeah.
you were able to, so you could try to contact him after all.
Mm. Yeah. If we find out where he is, we might find out where they are.
Yeah.
And we could try to get revenge.
Yeah.
Or save Sweden,
Or get
potato,
revenge.
potato.
He is bait, if nothing else.
Yeah.
And so, are you going to try to contact him, or
Yeah,
what's the?
sure.
Yeah.
Do that. Yeah.
You can use your police voice maybe.
I don't think that's constructive in this situation, actually. Or at least would be trained to actually speak with people.
Yeah, I think you
Oh,
can.
I think so.
Yeah. So yeah, all right.
Okay.
She does, pick up the phone.
Now, which telephone are you using?
Probably something at the office.
At the office,
Borrowing
okay.
someone's
Right.
phone. Like.
Right.
Mm.
And just as you're, you get a user busy, but that's when Steenson says,
Hmm?
What's that number again? Hands you his phone, and it's that Ben's calling Steenson.
Oh,
Right.
So I gotta take his.
Yeah. Stenson's like, I got a very critical result, or a very important result on a roll there. Ben's nerve has broken. He has lost it, and he is pleading, saying, "Please, you have to help me. Who knows what they'll do, and they'll kill me, and just to make their point. I know they will."
Mm.
And is begging, saying, they're leaving from the airport. They're leaving from the airport, but please come and stop them from killing me or hurting anybody or whatever. I can't. They're terrible. You don't understand these people.
And I suppose the police would she tell him to calm down? I mean, it's pretty cliche. I don't think that actually works pretty well. But
Speaking personally, when somebody tells me to calm down, it's kind of a way for me not to.
Yeah.
Kind of a,
but
I
think it's
1-to-1. I can't think of a counterexample.
Nina would probably
Right.
try to
De-escalating.
Yeah,
de-escalating.
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 And like make say like concrete things. Can you say where are you now? Like, are you indoors or also like just meaningless questions? Just keep to make him think about something else than get him immediately killed.
I quite like the idea of Nina talking like this. As you're hearing Nina talk like this, it might be an interesting contrast to the sticks javelins into evildoers and drags them to the police. It's like,
so
it's a different side of you.
So sometimes a conference chair, looks out the window.
That's right.
Speaks, it's blank eye, out the window. Yeah, but something like so basically, and also you get also like concrete information, hopefully.